Hello and welcome to Oman Observer. Today we have a very special guest with us. He's Mr. Saif Al Harthi and he is the Executive Director of Tanfidh Management Consultancy. We come across a lot of strategies. It's always talked about, but coming into the execution is very important.
That's true.
So what do you have to say? Sometimes we don't see that action.
Strategy is important, but it's the execution that counts. It's actually the execution that gives you tangible results.
Right.
Although it's good to have, of course, the strategy, but the best strategy planning has no value without proper strategy
Execution plan?
Yes. So that strategy that you have spent time, spend money in building it, you have to realize it in terms of certain processes to make it happen.
Okay, so what are the barriers usually? Where are they failing? Organizations or individuals?
Yes, the world survey that was done recently revealed that 9 out of 10 companies fail at execution.
Oh,
And they
that's
fail.
a huge number.
It's a big number and it's very threatening, and that's still true today in many countries and many companies. They fail because of unclear vision and clarity of what actually we want to achieve and when do we want to achieve. The other problem is alignment, the inability to align the organization with the strategy and cascade the strategy to operations. Communication plays a very important part of strategy execution. So no matter how good your strategy is, if it's not communicated well to your workforce, and you're expecting them to help you to execute it, so the execution becomes very, very difficult. And the other thing is about also capability building. You need to build capabilities.
That probably would be the biggest drawback too, right?
That's right. That's right.
And if you have a strategy and if your HR have not reached to the level of executing the vision, then that is a big hassle.
It's very, very threatening. Really, you spend a lot of money and time building a strategy, but you're not seeing the benefit of it, and that's a problem.
9 out of 10 companies, that's a huge figure, as you mentioned. But there must be enablers. So what are the enablers?
There are a lot of enablers. I will mention a few which are top. I think leadership is number one. The leader have to lead in a way that he supports or he or she supports the strategy execution process.
Okay.
In terms of motivation, in terms of putting budgets for training, and the other enabler could be, or the barriers, as I said before, inability to have periodic reviews.
Okay.
So you have seen today a lot of organizations, of course, they execute their plans operationally, not strategically. But even with that, they fail to meet regularly and review their strategy and make improvements.
Correct.
So that could be also a barrier for strategy execution, also for improvement as well.
So actually, what happens when they're reviewing? And some companies, when they begin to survive and they're sustaining, they want to stay there. They may not actually fulfill the whole strategy, which is what the starting point was.
Okay, we call this a comfort zone.
Yeah, comfort zone.
They want to be in a comfort zone.
Yes.
And the other name of it is business as usual.
Yeah.
So they don't want to see the graph
take
goes
the risk.
up.
Yes.
It comes back to your first question about leadership. That's where the leader stands a very important place to motivate people to take the graph up from the business as usual.
Okay. So now if we come to the process from strategy to executing, how do you, or what do you suggest to companies, for example? Because you are working with them. Do you give strategies or do you work on the strategies to reach the point?
Well, it's both actually. If an organization has a strategy, we look at it to make sure that it's the right strategy to be executed.
Okay.
Lakshmi, it's just like a car. You go to a showroom and buy a car that has got no engine, but you want to drive. So driving is an execution.
Yes.
So you will not be able to drive that car
without the engine.
So
yes.
you have to make sure the strategy itself has got all the right components to be executed.
Right.
So that's one thing that we need to do, and we need to assess that strategy,
Okay.
make sure that it's ready for execution.
So what would you finally advise, to everyone who's thinking or they've got the strategy but are stagnant?
Yes, they have to follow the proven methodology that the world today is using to execute strategy. There are companies nowadays in the world, some of the companies I know, and some of the companies I have helped them here in Oman, is to use the strategic performance management system, which is basically called the balanced scorecard. It has got all the components to make your strategy happen. So you actually analyze your strategy using that tool. You come to know what are your strategic objectives, which are coming from your strategy, and setting KPIs and linking your projects to the strategy. So that's the process that you need to take in order to make your strategy happen, to realize your vision.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much, Lakshmi.